ladies and gentlemen, this mural that you are looking at on my screen is actually in a Florida courthouse. It is three Klansmen on horseback. And it's been hanging in this courthouse in Florida since 2001. You know, we knew we never got a fair chance in court. You know, they in the beginning, they threw all these Civil War soldiers on the bench to make sure Black people would never win in court. And it's been like that ever since. And this is written in history. I don't have to make this shit up. It's written in history. So this is the Washington Post, July 14th, 2020. The KKK is featured in a Florida courthouse mural. Lawyers are demanding its immediate removal. They could be easy to miss if you weren't looking closely. Three hooded members of the Ku Klux Klan on horseback lurking in the background of a mural on the ground floor of the Baker County Courthouse in Florida. The mural is supposed to depict more than 6,000 years, because you know that's as far back as these people can count themselves, 6,000 years of history in the Baker County Courthouse. And this place is just west of Jacksonville. The Klansmen are featured in one of 43 panels occupying a small square towards the top of the hulking 135 square foot painting. Since the day it was unveiled in 2001, lawyers and activists have tried to get it removed or relocated repeatedly, asking why images of the KKK in any context have been allowed to hang in the halls of justice. That's because there's no justice there. Okay, that's why it's allowed to be there. It was never any justice there. Now the country's attention is urgently attuned to the issue of Confederate monuments and racist symbols. They're asking yet again. On Monday, the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers called on the state 8th Circuit Court Chief Justice to immediately remove the mural from the Baker County Courthouse. The association said, while the mural is supposed to represent the county's culture and history, portions of it are reprehensible, a reminder of an unjust and racist past in our area that has no place in a judicial building, but it does, it's there. It has, obviously, it's had a place there since 2001 in a courthouse, which is a particular building made of dispensing justice. Everyone who goes through the courthouse has to feel they're going to be treated fairly. Mitch Stone, the president of the association, told the Washington Post. And to depict something in a courthouse mural that, you know, that is really this racist, how would any Black person walk past something like this at that courthouse and really believe you got a fair chance? Seriously, how would you feel that way? You know, some days I actually want to say, Black people, what is the point in going to their courts? Their courts are not there to dispense any kind of justice. Their courts are there to keep us down. There's no justice in any of these courtrooms around this country, and it was intended to be that way. You would have to be crazy to still believe there is justice in America. You would have to be crazy to believe it. So, ladies and gentlemen, they really need to consider how somebody of color would feel seeing three Klansmen if they were walking into that courthouse. The 8th Circuit Chief Judge James P. Nillen could not immediately be reached for comment, nor could Baker County Commissioner James Bennett, the chair of the Board of Commissioners that has listened to the complaints about the mural in recent days. This is the least, the third attempt. So they have been trying over and over to get this thing removed. You know, and that just go to show you they don't want to remove it. It don't take from 2001 to 2020 to remove something like this. At this point, there is no other choice but to believe they don't want this removed. Okay. This is at least the third attempt by lawyers and activists to relocate or remove the mural since it was completed in 2001 by artist Gene Barber, who died in 2005. Well, there you go. He died in 2005. Wherever he's buried, bury this right next to him. That's how you get rid of it. Take it down, take it to the graveyard, dig a hole, put it in the ground right next to his grave, so he can have his picture for an eternity. The painting depicts everything from the earliest indigenous tribes to the bloody Civil War battle and the proliferation and turpentine distilleries. Barber wrote a guidebook describing his historical depiction in each of the painting 43 panels achieved by the Baker County Historical Society. His entry for the KKK image does not mention anything about the group's extensive and brutal history of racial terror. Wow, he left all of that out. Yeah, we know why. He was probably one of them. So instead, describes the KKK as a solution to lawlessness, saying in part, exactly, this man probably was in the Klan. Come on. Who would say that? Man, get out of here. Lawlessness among ex-slaves. Why not just leave people alone? If you leave people alone, you won't find any lawlessness, you know? So anyway, in 2001, then the 8th Circuit Chief, Stan Morris, refused to allow the mural to be hung directly outside his second-story courtroom for the very reason the painting is facing heat today. Instead, the county apparently compromised by hanging it by the main entrance on the first floor where the government offices are located, the Florida Times Union reported in 2015. Barbara, so I guess he was talking about, wow, how did y'all let him put this? You know what it is, y'all. There were people working in 2001 in that courtroom that felt the same way this artist felt. That's why it was done. You don't let somebody hang something like this up and you objected to it. These people are full of crap. And, and I'm sick of that too. Every time we see things like this, or even worse, the first thing out of some of these folks' mouth, well, they weren't all like that. Some people did object. Well, how hard did you object? This still went up. No, nobody cares about your ineffective objective. You objected. Obviously, it was completely ineffective. So what good was it? Oh, man. All right. So there was always apparently debate over the mural. Obviously, it was not that much of a debate if it was allowed to be hung. Let's be real. Okay, and for protesters as well as lawyers, however, the issue isn't so much the inclusion of the KKK in a mural about the county's history, but the mural's location. And Courthouse's Confederate imagery has faced especially loud calls to come down. Stone said he is sympathetic to concerns about preserving history, but There is a time and place for everything. Courthouses, he said, are not the place to remember the KKK. Baker County lawyers and activists unsuccessfully tried to get the mural removed in 2015 after white supremacist Dylan Roof massacred 9 Black churchgoers in Charleston, South Carolina. Last week, they marched outside the courthouse again and then voiced their opposition to the courthouse mural during the county commissioner meeting on July 7th. Let's be clear, we're not here because we have an issue with a mural. We are here because we have an issue with the Ku Klux Klan on the mural in the courthouse. Baker County resident Kayla Given said during a virtual meeting, the KKK symbolism is not needed for the mural to reflect the county's history, she continued. Some say it was the artist's intent to show the bad side of Baker County. No, the artist can sympathize with the Klan. That's why he drew it in there. It doesn't matter what the intent was. The matter that as a taxpayer, I have the right not to be forced to relive this painful part of the history every time I enter the building I pay for. She's right. Rather than erase it completely, several residents suggested relocating the mural to the Baker County Historical Society or giving it to Barber's family. I'm telling you, take it to the graveyard where Barber is buried, dig a hole right next to his coffin, and put it down there. There you go. Barber can have his picture forever now. That's the way I see it. Lucky I'm not in charge because that's where that shit would go. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.